Hi there, Taurus. Welcome to your April reading. Great to see everybody again. And as always, you can use this reading for your sun sign, your rising, and also for your moon. If you don't happen to know all three of those, remember that you can always just stick with the sign that you were born under and you'll receive the guidance that you need. You can also watch this for someone that you care about in your life. So however this is of assistance to you, thank you so much for showing up. Quick rundown on how I organize this. I like to separate it in three main parts. I'll be talking in just a moment about the channeled information. Then I go into a full Celtic Cross for the month, and I end it with an expanded forecast looking at the areas of health, wealth, love, and destiny. If after watching this you like what you see, stick around until the end, and there's some ways that you can give back and show support. I'll put some of those here, and they range from booking an appointment to joining me on Patreon, but I know you're here for the forecast, so I'd like to get straight into that. Each and every month I begin by selecting a deck of cards, meditating for your sign, and seeing what comes through. This month the energy came primarily in a sort of clairvoyant image and then something that I felt within. The first thing I saw was like this beautiful crystal, and there was energy that just flowed right through it. Many facets on it, but I saw it kind of cutting straight through to one very clear point. And when I kind of homed in on what was allowing the light to flow with such intensity in one direction, it was, this is when I got a word in automatic writing that it should be all around authenticity this month. Authenticity, or being authentic, is going to open up the flow of energy. It's going to allow you to be crystal clear, and I believe really that's what the crystal had to do with this particular message for you. And just to take that one step further, I think that if you get to a point where you're not focused or you're not clear on what you want, that clarity in your mind and your heart is missing, then this is when the energy scatters. And so I really want to help you open up the flow this month so that you can accomplish whatever goals you have, so that you can start to see some sort of traction in your life on what it is you want to accomplish. So without any further delay, this is a nice segue into looking at the Celtic Cross for this month. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle the cards right now, and at this point I'll remain quiet as I lay out the whole Celtic Cross, and then I'll rejoin you afterwards to look at each and every card and relate them to what it means for you this month, okay? So let's get started. So as we look at your catalyst card this month, the main message that comes through is experience, hierarchy, and politics. Quick note, if you don't know what the catalyst is because this is your first time tuning in, for me a catalyst card is a connective thread for everything that we just pulled here in the Celtic Cross. When I was looking at this, there was a little bit of intimidation that came through with this. A lot of times if you've ever watched something on like National Geographic or one of the nature channels, you'll know that when it comes to sort of like, I think elk and deer and moose and different types of animals that have the horns can be used for defense, they can be used to show experience, but they can also just be used for intimidation. In your life this month, there may be people that come through that, whether or not they have the right to sort of come through and be an authority figure, they may try to exert their authority. And this card reminds you that you may be just as experienced, just as deserving of the attention or whatever it is you're trying to bring through as this person. So don't let them intimidate you. But the thing here is to sort of pick your moment, pick your timing, pick your way to come through so that it doesn't turn into some sort of an altercation, because that can happen with someone like this. So there'll be a little bit of a dance that you'll have to do. There may be some political things that you're going to have to take into consideration. And sometimes this can be reason enough for you to find another way or find a better place that is willing to listen to you and respect you, and that you don't have to kind of go through all of those hoops. Because usually, at least in my experience, things shouldn't be unnecessarily difficult. there's always a challenge when we're trying to do something important. The universe has a way of sort of testing us, but if you keep hitting sort of a brick wall time after time after time, that can be a sign that there's resistance in the area that you're at, and it might be undue resistance, and in that case it's more of sort of a chance for you to go in another direction. The universe is pushing you somewhere else. So if, however, you feel passionate, you feel ready for the challenge, then this is saying, like, kind of summon your inner animal spirit that would be like this elk and think, no, I'm going to stand up. And you can demonstrate it through body language. And I think this is the key thing. If someone tries to go go to a level where they're using words or trying to sort of use other things that distract or intimidate you, all you have to do is hold your posture, stay composed, and don't back down. But it's not sort of this confrontational thing where it's you versus them. It's sort of like, no, I'm not going to play by these rules that you're setting up. There's a better way to do it. So you could actually model and lead by example, and it could be a nice non-violent way. You can just wait until maybe they've had a tantrum, or maybe they need to just sort of let it all out. Once you've done that, this card is showing you that simply by being strong, by being present, by being persistent, people are going to gravitate towards your message, because that is a sign of maturity. Whether or not that other person is older than you, or they have a different title than you, or they're in a different place in the family structure, or whatever it is. So be strong, demonstrate your strength through your actions, through your integrity, and through your consistency. Don't worry so much about what that person might be saying or how or what you need to say. It's more about being in your authentic self. Then things start to flow through there. The other thing is, this is just a very strong card. So I'm getting a good sense of I feel like vitality-wise, things are going to improve, but also when it comes to your mental state, that you can really stand up to whatever's coming your way. This is a very defensive card. So don't feel like you have to overcompensate in any one area. You've got what you need, okay? Let's go ahead now and look at card by card. It's really interesting that the center card plays into that a little bit. We have an Emperor card in reverse. The upright version of the Emperor, of course, is really positive. It has to do with being in control of things, having the experience necessary for something, but and also maybe even having an idea of what you need to do, talking again about that crystal clarity. But when the card's reversed, it can show someone in your life who has a tendency to come in and in a place of business, they can micromanage. If it's a parent, they could kind of swoop in and not allow you a chance to be independent. In other words, they're not trusting you. And in other areas of your life, it can be someone that just comes in and blocks you outright because they want it to be their way. It's a very controlling card. It's a very sort of closed-minded card. So if you're in the presence of that this month, we talked about how you can counter that in the Catalyst card simply by being strong, sometimes by being quiet and reserved and waiting things out, and knowing that at the end, it's the person that can stay cool and calm under pressure that will win, not necessarily the one that makes the most noise. And the other thing here is that if you can't find a place where, and by a place I actually mean an environment in this particular example, an environment that supports you and respects you, it might be a nudge from the universe to move on. The Emperor card, also the Elk card here, can indicate an elder in your life that is a little intense this month. And if that's the case, step back, find your own voice, find your own way. Don't feel like you have to prove yourself or argue with them. We have a decision that I think some of you are forced to make this month, or encouraged to make. We have the Two of Swords here. I like this particular one because it's not sort of this feeling of helplessness or a no-win situation, which can sometimes happen with the Two of Swords. This particular one is saying that you might have one particular opportunity that distracts you or takes you away from what's important. And you have a choice this month to sort of continue down one path and achieve the goal that you want, or try something else with the knowledge that you have no guarantee on how long it's going to take to get back to whatever it was you were doing. So for some of you, this could mean that you have a dream that you're working on. If you're an artist, or if you're trying to start a business, or if you have this sort of wild idea for something that you want to manifest in your life. And then all of a sudden you get a practical job that will pay the bills, that is going to be everything that your parents and everyone else has wanted, but it doesn't feel authentic to you. Your Two of Swords moment is choosing between predictable but not satisfying, or something that really moves you and has a higher level of risk to it. For those of you that are doing that, there are some real life things that you'll have to think about. We have the Five of Pentacles in the Deep Past. Some of you could be overcoming some financial challenges or some health challenges, and you might need that stability. If you decide to take that route, the one that's going to provide sustenance but possibly bring you off your dream, just make sure that you have a plan of attack for how long you're going to do this, and that you continue to feed the passion project or the idea that you have on the side, okay? We all have moments in our life where we have to sort of put something on the shelf, but I want you to make sure that you don't put it there too long, and that's what the Two of Swords is saying. Speaking of health, take care of yourself. The Five of Pentacles card can come through when you're recovering from an injury. A lot of times it has to do with something in the extremities, usually your knees or your legs, even your feet. So watch circulation this month, and if you are walking, this can also indicate an opportunity, not a good one, but like a chance that you might trip. So just be careful. Don't multitask when you're walking. Take special care to make sure that you're eating and sleeping and doing everything that you can to be as well as possible. And if you just got sick, again, take it slow towards the beginning of the month so that you can build up your resistance again, okay? Now, as we're looking at the energy that is representing recent past, we have the Tower card. In and of itself, the Tower isn't bad. It simply represents a period of change. This can indicate a change of job, a change of location, a change of mind. And what I find interesting about this card is there's a sense of wondering, did I do the right thing? A little bit of nostalgia, a little bit of a pause that this particular character in the Tower card is showing. And if we look again at the Two of Swords here at the center, some of you might just be thinking, was that the right choice? Now, if you didn't have this sort of dilemma, as I discussed at the beginning, between a very clear path of this is smart and this is my dream, it might have just been a decision. You made the best decision you could. Well, in that case, I actually feel like you're on the right path. We have the Eight of Pentacles in a crowning position, and this is very fortuitous. This shows expansion. It shows recovery when it comes to finances, also with health. And most importantly, it shows a wealth of opportunity opening up for you. One of the things I really like about the Eight of Pentacles is it indicates that whatever you decide to invest in, whether it's a project, whether it's some sort of training, whether it's a brand new job, basically what we see here is that the time, the energy that you put into it, it's going to come back, and it's also going to be very enriching. So this is a good time to make a move. It's a good time to learn, to open your mind up, simply to read or to sort of try something new. I encourage all of the above, and I think that you'll enjoy doing that as well. Your near future for this month, showing what's possible, it's also very good. We have the King of Wands, and the interesting thing with this is it shows the counter to what we saw earlier. So there was someone that was stubborn, or some sort of an obstacle where there was a controlling person, or some sort of a stopgate to allowing something to happen. And guess what? The King of Wands is a thinking card. It's about finding another way around this, thinking outside of the box. And with the King of Wands, this shows that you're on your game this month when it comes to management and oversight of your life, of projects, of other people, also ideation, brainstorming, coming up with new ideas. All of these things are great. I also see a very strong connection between these two cards. I said this earlier, but I think it really is important to repeat it. This month, you lead by example. You model the behavior that you want others to echo back. And that's really what these two cards are showing. This is a leader. This is experience and leadership. And they're both the counter or the contrast to what we're seeing with this sort of stubborn Emperor card. Going back to our channeled information here about being authentic and going with the flow, one thing that comes to mind is if you think of an actor, there are certain actors that can just really bring something to life, and it's because in that moment they feel it, they believe it, and they draw you in. And what you need to find this month, and when you're going to be most powerful, is when passionately you feel something, when you use the words and you also use your body language in a way that conveys it. And this can be more powerful than someone, again, who has a bigger name, has more experience, or has a louder voice. It's all about how you hold yourself, how you communicate, and you can outmaneuver them simply by being true and being yourself and remember that this month. I think always true. It's a good message for life in general. There's a great card here in your ego. We have the Six of Wands in the upright position. And this is showing that everything that I was just talking about, you already have working for you this month. The Six of Wands is success amongst peers and friends and family, and understanding that it's important to not live for them, but to live for the truth of what it is you're trying to do. So if it's a creative endeavor, staying true to the vision. If it's a project at work, thinking of the larger team. If it's a family sort of thing, making sure that everybody's a part of this. The other thing is to not get lost in the crowd. So there's this balance that we see, in this card as well, that you would sometimes maybe see in the Two of Pentacles, which is to try to make sure that you're not putting too much in one direction, and making sure that it makes sense and that there is some sort of reciprocity. So anyway, the card is upright. So I think overwhelmingly, this is a good month for you to embrace opportunities where you're going to try to bring something forward for an approval. Know that whatever challenges you face, that you're going to be able to overcome them. And remember again that your voice doesn't have to be the loudest, it just has to be the most impactful. And if you do this, if you follow those sort of thoughts and ideas, I feel like you're going to have a very successful month. Because if I were to caption this, I would sort of say success or acclaim or community or connections, and you've got kind of all of that going in your favor this month. Now let's look at something that could cause some challenges. In your environment, we have the Four of Pentacles card, and it's reversed. So with people in your life, there could be some folks that are not willing to share. They may not want to share the limelight. There may be resources, because of course this can indicate time or money or effort. And there may be someone in your life that has a hard time with being generous or sharing, because maybe they've been in a position before where someone took too much or stole an idea, or didn't make them feel like they were part of this group, or they were part of the team. And especially when we look at the Five of Pentacles, this can have to do with parents and children. And so this could be having something to do with you or someone that you love, and it could echo all the way back to experiences that one or both of you had as a child. The key right now is to really lead with your heart, to make sure that you are being empathetic towards those people around you, even if they can't do it themselves or if they're having a hard time. Being demonstrative, showing the way, modeling the behavior, all that stuff that we talked about, it's especially or doubly true with people that are having a hard time trusting. And a lot of times my dog is sleeping, or I would bring him up here and have him say hi. But a lot of times when you think of animals, especially like mine, who had kind of had an unfortunate start, the way that I gained his trust was to really spend time showing him it was safe, giving him extra amounts of love and care, and I just watched him blossom. It was kind of like I was putting new soil around a flower, and every day he opened up just a little bit more, until now I have this beautiful, loving dog in my life. But it took 2 years to sort of bring him out of his shell. So don't expect changes to happen overnight. Be realistic with people around you. And if it's you that's sort of trying to work on recovery, because maybe someone didn't treat you right, maybe there was some sort of neglect, abuse, or something that went wrong, whether it was in your childhood or recently, maybe even in the past year, then it's okay, and it takes time to heal from that. Give yourself that love too, and give yourself that time as well. Don't be afraid to ask for help and nurture yourself. It's really important. So wherever that exists in your life, just know that it's it's true of all cards of Pentacles that are showing less than. The way that you improve them is to give a little bit more in the generosity place. So if you're feeling like there's not enough money, you can give some time, some energy, and some love to something or someone in the universe, and all of a sudden abundance starts to flow in. So that's what I'm saying. Give a little to this person or this place or this thing, or to yourself, wherever that feeling of deficit is. And once you start to provide this opening, then all of a sudden you'll have more energy, more abundance, more flow coming through, okay? Because overall, I'm not seeing problems with money this month. I know that we have two cards, or resources, I should say. Yeah, we have the Four of Pentacles here and the Five of Pentacles here, but your overarching card is the Eight. So that's why I think for some of you, there's a perception that needs to shift around, or that there's some sort of a historical event that happened that changed the way you were feeling. So if we can work with energy and emotions this month, we can actually help affect the physical resources that want to come in. All right, looking at hopes, fears, opportunities, we have the Seven of Wands in the reverse state. This is a time when, even though you can probably do everything that's coming your way, it would be better if you worked in a team. Not only because your ego card is one of teamwork, but also because the more you hold on to, sometimes the less you can kind of grow or focus on the bigger thing. Remembering that part of my channeled information was being able to allow things to go in one direction. And if you have all of these facets and you're spreading yourself too thin, scattering, as I said earlier, then you don't get as much done as you should. So delegate, ask for help. And if someone comes in and wants to give you a hand, don't think that they're trying to take something away from you. They're really allowing you to be more successful on one or two things that you could do an amazing job on. So understand that help is there, and it's actually coming from a good place, more likely than not. And if it isn't, then you actually have the ability to stand up for yourself and show people that that's not going to be acceptable, okay? The outcome card is encouraging you to be direct, but with tact, with constructive criticism. We have the Page of Swords card, and this is typically one that is about the delivery or the receipt of messages. And because it's a page and it's not a king or a queen, with this card, reverse, it is about being direct, but it's about tempering that a little bit. So this is a good time to be proactive about communications. If there's something that's starting to go wrong or you're worried about something, instead of going right in and saying, I don't like this, do this, start with a question and ask, say, I want to get some clarity on this. Did we talk about this? Was I not clear? You could ask some questions, and in this, people will pick up that there needs to be an improvement, but it's always nice to let people sort of describe what's going on before you have some sort of, you jump to a conclusion or you have a preconceived notion of what's happening. So stop, observe, ask, and then if something isn't right, then you can go in and talk about it. So let's expand the forecast now and take a look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. We're going to begin with your health card. For me, health isn't just what's going on in your body. A lot of times it's an energy thing, which we talked about with the Four of Pentacles. It can also be something that is going on with a sort of thought process that is something that could be holding you back. It can also be very good. So let's just see what's going on with health. Mind, body, and spirit again. You have a volunteer here. The card was reversed, but I'd like to hold it in the upright position so that we can talk about it first. It says, in every moment, the universe is conspiring to bring me toward right-minded thinking and the energy of love. So it's really interesting that this card was reversed. And again, it's basically focusing on love. And when we look at your environment card, it's also about heart space, love. Normally, the Four of Pentacles would show someone holding something over their heart space, protecting themselves. So the big thing that I'm seeing, and it really is more about energy and thought this month, is opening up your heart center to allow for more things to come in. I didn't see a lot with relationships this month, and so some of you may have shut down a little bit and protected yourself. This is reminding you to heal, to take care of yourself, to love yourself first and foremost, and know that that love will open things up so that others can give you love and you can be more abundant in that space if that's something you want to do. The other thing is, I believe that you might be just holding on to things in general because, I'm going to associate that with the Four of Pentacles card, which in this card we can see someone closing and sitting and not allowing for an opening to happen. So I would say in general, this is a good time for you to stretch, to open up, to get outside a little bit, to try to get away from closed spaces. Now, because we have a more spirit-based card here, I also want to highlight what I already saw in your distant past, which could show a recurrence of something. Again, if you run yourself down, you might get sick this month. This can indicate cold and flu. It can also indicate issues with joints and the extremities, particularly the knees, the legs, or the ankles. So just take care of yourself and allow for that healing to occur. With relationships, it's parents and children. So there's a lot that could happen this month with love and with recovery, and those are the areas I think you can focus on to improve. All right, let's take a look now at wealth, knowing that wealth is not just money, but it's also how you feel about yourself, what kind of opportunities are coming through, and how open you are to those. So we have a starseed card here, which is beautiful. I really think that this has to do with what we were talking about in the channeled information. Really connecting to soul purpose, being as authentic as possible, and maybe taking the path less traveled, assuming that your resources will allow you to do it. And if that's not the case, maybe asking for help, because I wasn't really seeing a limit for possibilities. It may just be a limit that you're putting on yourself, and being able to ask for help, ask for support, or to trust in yourself and your own abilities. So don't limit yourself this month. And if you're not feeling connected to what you're doing this month, it's really important to get closer to what it was that you came on this earth to do. And that's something that I've been talking to all my clients about, a lot of the signs. And I think it's important to bring it up here too, that we're not just here to make money. We're not here just to sort of sustain ourselves. The primary focus of our life should be that of expansion, expanding consciousness, growing as a soul, helping other people on the planet, and healing the earth and the planet as well. And we've lost track of that because we kind of get wrapped up in all of the drama that's going on. So when and if we can choose a career that somehow profoundly connects us to our soul's purpose, the universe has our back and starts to support us, because there's not enough people that are actually doing that right now. So be brave. If that's something that you want to do, know that it's there. And if that sounds way too lofty and way too new age for you, what I'm going to gently nudge you to do is to follow your heart and do something that brings you more joy. I believe that both joy and love are natural currencies that exist within the universe, God, the divine, whatever. It wants us to be in a state of joy and happiness. And when we get into that space, then we are closer to our purpose anyway. If you're retired, if you're somewhere else in your life where it's not about making money, then this is just about aligning to purpose, and meeting fellow starseeds, other people on the planet that are awake, aware, and can help you on that path. You have that there, and that's what we saw in the ego. So be open, allow them in, and don't be afraid. Sometimes when you start to open up spiritually, I know this is in the wealth place, but it really is talking about spirit. We're afraid of what might come in. I'm not seeing anything negative this month. I'm seeing abundance when it comes to resources, and perhaps alignment when it comes to purpose. So that's your message, and I hope it resonates. Let's go ahead now. We looked at health and wealth. We'll take a look now at love and see what's coming through for partnerships, for love relationships, and also just for personal experiences with friends, family, and loved ones. So the message for love overall this month is discovery. I see three things with this card. The first is self-discovery, particularly because your crowning card was the Eight of Pentacles, a card of expansion, growth, and knowledge. And as we look at this, we also see a connection to the divine and angelic entity here, and that beautiful heart space opening up, something that I talked about this month quite a bit. So some of you might discover something about yourself, and it might be a skill that you have, a passion that you have, a purpose that you have on the planet. We saw that in your wealth area, the starseed. And so if that's the case, then this is really exciting for you. It's a chance to follow something that brings you joy and passion. You could be learning something about a loved one this month, perhaps someone that you have had a hard time with, because we saw this parental card here. Maybe it's a sibling or parent or one of your children, some sort of a connection, and you're learning something that could help you heal, or it could also be bringing up some scars from the past. So keep an open mind when it comes to whatever it is you're discovering, remembering that whether you're the one that's sort of telling your side and people are hearing it, or you're the one that's listening, it's always hard for the person that is discussing their truth to be out there, to put themselves out on a limb. So all you have to do really is to be present, to listen, and to allow them to share whatever it is they want to share. Finally, and I think probably most exciting for many of you, is that you could be discovering someone that you love in your life. You could be meeting somebody new. You could also be opening yourself up to be loved. You could already be in a relationship, or could already have people that are interested in you, but this could be the time when you kind of realize this is something that you want more of in your life. So deciding, I am worth love, I'm ready for love, and allowing for that to come through, because that was one of the big blockages or the big areas of opportunity for some of you this month, was just to allow even more to come through. Even if you don't feel that you're blocked in your heart space, I'm challenging you to open up a little bit more, because it feels like more love wants to kind of stream through. So there you go. Let's go ahead now and look at your destiny. For me, the destiny card has to do with a sort of an internal GPS. If we like the path that we're on, we can use this card to stay on that path. If you feel like you're ready for a change, then this card can show you how to change. So let's see what the message is, and we'll go from there. Okay, there are 2 cards, so I'm gonna take a look at that. Doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes it does. All right, let's pull the camera up and we'll talk about them. The first one is a reverse one, and it says collaborative dreaming. So you may be receiving messages. This could also be, for some of you, a soulmate, a twin flame, some sort of even past relative as well. But I see a very strong connection here, and you could be getting for some of you, it could literally be a shared dream, or it could be work that you're doing in the realm of dreaming, astrally projecting, meeting someone, working things out. So it's going to be a powerful time for many of you, and you'll want to make sure that before you go to sleep that you're doing proper sleep rituals. Again, just clearing your space, calling in some protection, and meditating a little bit before you go to bed so that you're of clear mind and also, again, clear energy. The second card here was conscious connections. And this is reminding you to really pay attention to who you're bringing into your life and what you're sort of associating with, because it is going to either bring you up in your frequency or bring you down. And also it's sending a message to people around you. So this can be choices in music, choices in food, your own sort of habits. And so this could be a good month to sort of do some pruning and cleaning. And if there's anything you want to let go of, you could do that, because by creating space, by cleaning things up a little bit, you're going to allow for better connections to happen. All right, let's go ahead now and review everything that we talked about today. The first thing was about staying authentic and knowing that that will open up more energy, more opportunities, and more flow. I saw that crystal when I was meditating, and the other important thing for you is to be very clear on what it is you're trying to create and open up, knowing that once you do that, the universe can support you and allow for that as well. Your catalyst card this month was the Elk card. I saw a direct correlation as we later looked at your central card here, the Emperor card in reverse. There's a stoic nature to this, sometimes a feeling of someone that is unwilling or unable to be open. With the Elk card, we have a reminder here that all that's important for you is to know who you are, what you're trying to do, and to, again, when you're connecting to your authenticity, know that people are going to feel that and respect that. So you want to model the behavior that you want to see and know that that's going to be enough. Just like an actor that can pull it all together and is believable, if they really believe in themselves and are coming from a place of love, light, and truth, then nothing can hold them back. And I think that's true in real life as well. And so you don't have to act, you just have to feel that authenticity, and others will pick up on it. With the Emperor card in reverse, if there's anyone in your life that's holding you back, this is a reminder to step away from it. One thing that I didn't say initially that I would like to highlight here is that this is also sort of a nudge for you to take control of your life. And for some of you, that's simply making a decision, because we have the Two of Swords over top of this. A reminder that it's important to mind your health this month. We have the Five of Pentacles, which can show recovery from injury or from sickness or the flu. It can also show a desire just to kind of get a stronger hold or organization with your finances. I see cards of growth overall. The Four of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles are actually showing more of an understanding of what's going on. So I think you'll be okay, but we'll talk a little more in a second about that. The energy this month, overarching, is all about your ability to change and to go with that flow of opportunity, because that was part of the channeled information. So don't second guess yourself. If you've made a decision, it's important now to follow through and to see what you can do next. I think that for many of you, the changes that you've made are positive. We have the Eight of Pentacles here showing abundance. Again, it's a great time for you to really focus on skill building and any sort of knowledge acquisition. King of Wands, superb time for organizing your finances. For those of you that actually work in a field like project management, this is very good for that as well. I just see you being able to lead others. I saw, again, a lot of connection between the Elk card and this, the positive elements of these two cards, which is demonstrate what you need in your life and know that others will pick up on that sense of, again, authenticity, calm, peacefulness. You don't have to push your energy out there like whatever else might be doing that for you right now. Just be in the flow, and if something isn't, then it's time to move on, or again, to sort of model the behavior that you want until things change. You have a really good energy this month with other people. Remember that, because when we looked at hopes and fears, there's a card here that can sometimes show being defensive or not wanting to share. And there was another message here about, you need to share and others need to share. So again, a great way to model that is just to be generous and to allow people a chance to kind of have a place at the table. Be direct, but be tactful this month as well. We talked about how you can kind of find a nice happy medium between the two. When we looked at health, it's really about stress reduction, believing that the universe actually is, the word conspiring is kind of there in an ironic sense. It's supporting you. It's supporting you and helping bring you towards right-minded thinking and the energy of love. And when we looked at career and wealth, there's a chance for you maybe to step more into something that brings passion into your life. A lot going on with the heart space this month. Perhaps someone needs to talk to you about something. Perhaps you're discovering something about yourself, or perhaps you found love in your life, or you're ready to receive love. And when we looked at your GPS, we have two options, very much like what we see here at the center with the Two of Swords. There's a choice to do some sort of a collaborative dreaming here. Now, I was talking about literally looking at this as dreaming, but this could also be a brainstorming opportunity, or connecting with another starseed who is awake, aware, and wants to do a project with you. So there's that element of this as well. And then there's a general warning or encouragement for you to really pay attention to what you're deciding to connect with energetically this month, knowing that it can either heighten or in some cases sort of bring you off the path that you're trying to stay on. So just be aware of that and make wise choices when it comes to that. So this brings your monthly reading to a close. I do hope that it gave you exactly what you need to feel like you are ready for all of the challenges and opportunities that are presented this month. There are a lot of great opportunities for you. So again, I hope you got that out of this. If you ever feel like you want to talk a little bit more about something that's going on in your life, maybe there is an important life decision, a change, new job, or you want to talk a little bit more about spiritual development, feel free to reach out to me. The first card in the video and also the first link below the video is a way to check out rates and availability. So feel free to take a look at that, and if you'd like to schedule an appointment, I'm here for you. As I said at the beginning of the video, if you like what you see here and you would like to support the channel, there's a great way that you can do that. The second card and the second link will bring you to a donation page on my website. From there, you can either join me on Patreon or you can do a one-time donation. Something as small as $1 really makes a big impact here. It allows for me to continue to buy new materials and also just set up the time it takes to do these videos. So if you've ever considered doing it before, this is a great time to make that pledge and make a difference here, and know that it means a lot to me. If you'd like a different way to sort of show your support, the easiest way is simply to like and subscribe. But you can also join me on social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and I have a newsletter as well. I think that the work that I'm trying to do here anyway is kind of the equivalent of kindling energy and kindling light. Every time you share something, it helps kind of spread that word and kind of light up this planet. So if each of us is a candle, if we're all holding those candles, this world gets brighter and brighter and brighter. So share that flame with someone else. Share this on your social media. Know that that's a great way to support this and to create a healthier channel here. So it means a lot to me if you do that as well. So thank you for any and all of the above. And I'd like to end with some words just for your sign. I always like to focus on a couple of things that I learned and that I think are especially important for you. Your overarching message this month was about development. I saw development in anything that you want to invest in when it comes to expansion of knowledge. So take care to, and take time, I would say also, to do something that makes you feel good, that inspires you. There was also a big theme here about connecting to something of a higher purpose, especially when it comes to work or volunteer time and energy, putting something into your life that isn't just about your bank account. There's a bigger purpose here, and there was a reminder for that. And I think this is going to directly lead to the discovery card, for you discovering what you love, and also maybe discovering someone that shares that love with you, whether it's a sort of platonic relationship, but you just have this passion for the same thing, or you might meet someone that you love because you're doing something that you love. So when you're in that energy and that frequency of love, all things open up to you. And I think for many of you, this could help you overcome any sort of perceived blockages in that heart center. So open up your heart. Thank you so much for being here this month, and know that I'm wishing you as much love, abundance, and energetic flow as possible. I see that white light flowing through, and I hope that it comes through and you receive the blessing that you need this month. Thank you so much. I'll see you again in a month's time. Until then, be well.